fishermen had thought they saw a seal on a floating iceberg until they saw this. This trio of fishers were on the lookout for crabs when they saw something surprising. There appeared to be a creature trapped on the ice floating in the sea. The fishers assumed that it was probably one of the sea animals they usually see, like seals. But, what it actually was left them surprised. Longtime pals Mallory Harrigan and Cliff Russell, and Alan Russell own a small fishing boat together. They had decided to start their own fishing business and sail down the coast of Labrador to look for unique and cool things. The three friends had much in common, mostly the fact that they loved spending their time fishing. During the days when all these events had unfolded, it was extraordinarily cold, and the icebergs were also still in the frigid waters. The inclement weather did not stop Mallory, Alan, and Cliff from heading out to these waters. They knew just about everything about the sea, the weather didn't make them nervous, and they were excited to head out and get in the water to fish. This trio hailed from a small fishing village and were merely boating enthusiasts. They eventually decided it was time to take the plunge and start their own fishing business. On that particular day, Mallory and her crew set out with excitement along with Newfoundland's chilly weather. The excitement that they leave with keeps them alert and constantly aware of their surroundings at all possible times. This is necessary as the sea can be unpredictable. With the help of their boat, the trio manages to catch different kinds of marine animals. Fish and crabs aren't the only things they come across in the cold northern waters. The crew does end up catching dozens of pounds of fish each day. Even the work is distributed equally as one prepares the food each day and others tend to the duties on the ship. While Mallory was on the lookout one day, one of her shipmates prepared the fish for shipping and eating. The trio stayed their course but had to be alert at all times, given the possibility of icebergs and other instances that could cause them harm. A seemingly harmful situation requires all hands on deck so that they don't go into the icebergs. Icebergs are home to animals like penguins, seals, and polar bears. Mallory and her crew usually catch a glimpse of these animals when they're out at sea. And if there are no unnecessary interactions, both can go about their day peacefully. But what the crew came across was not a creature that was meant for the ice. While fishing for crabs, one day, they came across something that surprised them. On a large chunk of ice, they spotted an animal that they wouldn't find in such conditions. From a distance, it seemed to be an Arctic seal that was sitting casually on this floating iceberg with the bottom completely melted. As they got closer, their worry increased. The creature appeared small and furry, and scared. And it wasn't long before the iceberg it was resting on was about to vanish into the sea. The crew was also worried about how the animal would react to them. As the boat got closer, the trio realized it was an Arctic fox that was tiny and very cold. It was clear that the fox had no way of getting off the iceberg as it couldn't swim back to the shore. The crew figured that the fox might have been hunting before he got stuck on the wrong side. That's when the iceberg began floating away, and there was nothing the fox could do. The trio managed to rescue the fox, who was extremely cold and starving. They also gave him a warm bed to sleep in. The fox was initially wary of the humans, but a little persuasion went a long way, as it stayed calm on the boat. Now, there wasn't much food on the boat the trio could give an Arctic fox. But they had to give him something as the little creature needed food if he was to stay alive. He was ultimately given Vienna sausages that seemed fit enough for a fox. The fox then snuggled into its bed and managed to get some sleep. Eventually, the fox started looking much better and healthier. The fishers also found it a new house on the side of a barren hill where it wasn't likely to venture onto an iceberg again. What appeared to be a little doghouse made the fox happy as he sniffed around. It gradually began exploring its surroundings. As the fox trotted around its new home and surroundings, his rescuers filmed him enjoying his freedom. The fox turned around one last time to see his rescuers and continued with his exploration. Unfortunately for creatures like this Arctic fox, climate change is growing increasingly troublesome. This situation is only going to get increasingly worse as the years pass by. Scientists have estimated that the rise in sea temperatures will result in the rapid deterioration of the ice on the poles of our planet. Thankfully, at least this fox has now found a new home.